नितिश जी एक बार चेक कर लो, हो गया कनेक्ट, चेक कर लीजिए। गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। गुड मॉर्निंग। मॉर्निंग नहीं, सॉरी, इवनिंग हो गई। गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। हैबिट पड़ी हुई है ना? गुड इवनिंग। एक मिनट, मुझे तो मैं दिख रही हूँ। आई जस्ट वांट टू नो दैट यू गाइस कैन सी मी। गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। Good evening. So now we are going to begin the second part of gynecology, right? अब second part of gynecology में I want to discuss with you some important disorders जो कि होते हैं gynae की, some important pathologies related to gynae, right? So first of all we have to discuss fibroid. Fibroid में few important things जो कि हमारे लिए important है. Number one, the types of fibroid. So सबसे पहले तो what is a fibroid? Fibroid, all of you know, is a smooth muscle tumor of the uterus, right? Fibroid का दूसरा नाम क्या होता है? Fibroid is also called as leiomyoma. Leiomyoma, right? Now, please understand that a fibroid can be a uterine fibroid or it can be extrauterine fibroid. Now, when we are talking about uterine and extrauterine, most common cause of fibroids are uterine fibroids. Uterine fibroids में fibroid can be of three types. Tell me quickly, what are the three types of fibroid? जल्दी से बताओ. We have intramural fibroid, submucous fibroid, and subserosal fibroid. Now, a fibroid, जैसे ये uterus का myometrium है suppose, so a fibroid which is present inside the cavity, that is subserosal fibroid, right? A fibroid which is present inside the myometrium, that is intramural fibroid. So intramural is present in myometrium. Submucosal कहां पर होता है? Submucosal is present in uterine cavity. And subserosal कहां पे होता है? It is in peritoneal cavity. ठीक है? Next question. What is the most common type of fibroid? Which is the most common type of fibroid? As I told you, uterine fibroids. Uterine में भी कौन सा? Intramural fibroid. Next question. What is the to begin with, all fibroids are. So to begin with, all fibroids are intramural. All fibroids are intramural, right? Next important point is maximum symptoms are seen with submucosal fibroid. Very good. Then, which fibroid leads to maximum chances of abortion and maximum chances of infertility? Which fibroid leads to maximum chances of abortion and infertility? Again, the answer is submucosal fibroid, right? Then, which fibroid has maximum chances of torsion. Which fibroid will have maximum chances of torsion? It is a pedunculated subserosal fibroid. So a pedunculated subserosal fibroid is likely to undergo torsion. Next important point which you have to remember is all fibroids, they are estrogen plus progesterone dependent tumors, right? OCP has no effect on size of fibroid and pregnancy has no effect on size of fibroid. ठीक, अगला important point क्या है fibroid में? अगला important point in fibroid is that fibroid is covered by a pseudocapsule. A fibroid is covered by a pseudocapsule, right? And the blood vessels which supply the fibroid, are in the pseudocapsule. So blood vessels which supply the fibroid, they are present in the pseudocapsule, right? So if this over here is the fibroid, this over here will be a pseudocapsule, and the blood vessels which supply the fibroid will be present in pseudocapsule. So the most vascular part of the fibroid is the periphery of the fibroid, and the least vascular part of the fibroid is center of fibroid, right? That is why degenerations begin from periphery. Degenerations begin from center of fibroid. क्योंकि center of fibroid, that's the least vascular part, right? Whereas calcification begin from periphery of fibroid. Very, very important कि degenerations कहाँ से start होंगे? Center से. Calcification कहाँ से start होगा? Periphery से. Next important point. What is the most common degeneration which is seen in a fibroid? Who's going to tell me which is the most common degeneration seen in the fibroid? Most common degeneration seen in the fibroid is? बताओ. Hyaline degeneration. Hyaline degeneration. Right? What is the least common change seen in fibroid? What is the least common change seen in fibroid? Least common change which is seen in fibroid is malignant transformation. Malignant transformation, right? Now, a very important case. Case is, suppose your question says that there is a pregnant female with fibroid who presents to you with pain in abdomen. A pregnant female is coming to you with pain in abdomen, plus there is nausea and vomiting. So what is your diagnosis? Your diagnosis should be red degeneration of fibroid. Red degeneration of fibroid. Please remember, red degeneration of fibroid, it is seen in pregnant females. It is more common in second trimester, right? Patient is going to come to you with complaint of pain in abdomen, nausea and vomiting, right? This is an aseptic condition. This is an aseptic condition. What happened? Again? Oh shit. I have written and you can't see. Hold on. Hold on. मैंने aseptic condition पूरा लिख दिया, but you people can't see. Let me just check. कुछ तो आया, पूरा नहीं आया. एक बार बंद करके स्टार्ट करते हैं. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't go. Right. फिर नहीं हो रहा. Again this issue. क्या हो गया? Okay. Connected. Are you guys there? Are you guys there? Connect हो गया finally? Let me know, बच्चों, you are there. Okay, thank you. Chalo, let us continue. So it's an aseptic condition. Now, in this condition, although it is aseptic, there will be increased ASR and increased WBC count, right? Always remember that the management of red degeneration is conservative management. Management is conservative management, right? There is no role of, you don't have to give any antibiotics. There is no role of antibiotics. There is no role of surgery like myomectomy. And there is no role of termination of pregnancy. You don't have to terminate pregnancy because of this condition. There is no role of termination of pregnancy. Are you understanding? So, you don't have to give any antibiotics for this condition. You don't have to do myomectomy and you don't have to terminate pregnancy for red degeneration of fibroid. Although in red degeneration, patient will, her ESR would be increased, her WBC count would be increased, right? Okay. Next important question. What is the most common presentation in fibroid? What is the most common presentation in fibroid? Most common presentation which you get in a fibroid is, tell me, it is asymptomatic. Most commonly fibroids are asymptomatic, right? What is the most common symptom which you get in fibroid? In fibroid, you get excessive bleeding. What is meant by excessive bleeding? See, excessive bleeding means if blood loss is more than 80 ml, that is excessive bleeding, or if number of days of bleeding are more than 8 days, then it is called as excessive bleeding. The term which is used for excessive bleeding is menorrhagia. Menorrhagia. Right? What is the average blood loss in a cycle? In a menstrual cycle, how much is average blood loss? Average blood loss in a menstrual cycle is 30 to 50 ml. So if in any female blood loss is happening more than equal to 80 ml, or it is number of days of bleeding are more than equal to 8 days, then you call it as menorrhagia, right? Then what are the other symptoms which you can get in a fibroid? The other symptoms which you can get in a fibroid are infertility. As I told you, infertility is most common with submucous fibroid. Then you can get pressure symptoms. Then they can be abortion or they can be dysmenorrhea. Right? Please remember, pain at the time of intercourse. Pain at the time of intercourse, that is dyspareunia. Then irregular bleeding. Irregular bleeding. That is metrorrhagia. These are two things which are not seen with fibroid. A fibroid ki patient is never going to come and tell you that she is having pain at the time of intercourse. She will never say that she is having irregular bleeding. Clear to all of you? These things are never seen in fibroid. What is the investigation of choice in fibroid? Investigation of choice in fibroid is ultrasound. What is the management of fibroid? So please remember, if the fibroid is asymptomatic, in asymptomatic fibroid, there is no management, right? But if it is a symptomatic fibroid, if it is a symptomatic fibroid, in that case, if it is a submucous fibroid, if it is a submucous fibroid, you always have to manage it surgically. You always have to do surgery. What surgery am I going to do? If patient's family is not complete, if family is not complete, you will do myomectomy. What do you mean by myomectomy? Myomectomy means you have to remove the fibroid only. There is no need to remove the uterus, right? You just have to remove the fibroid. Now, if family is complete, in that case, you have to remove the uterus. That means you have to do hysterectomy. Clear to all of you? Then you have to go for hysterectomy. Yes? Okay. Now, in case of intramural fibroid or subserous fibroid, right? In case of intramural fibroid and subserous fibroid, initially you have to do medical management. Initially you have to do medical management, right? Then, if medical management fails, then you have to go for surgery. Then you have to go for surgery. Please remember, if family is complete, an alternative to hysterectomy is uterine artery embolization. Uterine artery embolization. What is uterine artery embolization? Uterine artery embolization means that you are embolizing the uterine artery so that the blood supply to the uterus stops. And if blood supply to the uterus is going to stop, this fibroid will automatically shrink. Okay? Now, next question. What are the drugs which are used in management of fibroid? What are the drugs which are used in management of fibroid? ठीक है? Now, blur दिख रहा है मैम? ओके, बेटा कहां से रिपीट करूं? कहां से रिपीट करना है बेटा बता दो. See, I am telling you कि अगर फाइब्रॉइड सिम्टोमेटिक है तो हमें मैनेज करना है. अगर सबम्यूकस फाइब्रॉइड है, if it is a submucous fibroid, you always have to do surgery, right? And सर्जरी में कौन सी सर्जरी करोगे? सबम्यूकस फाइब्रॉइड में अगर फैमिली कंप्लीट है तो हिस्टेरेक्टमी करोगे. हिस्टेरेक्टमी का ऑल्टरनेटिव होता है यूट्राइन आर्टरी एम्बोलाइजेशन. ठीक है? एंड यूट्राइन आर्टरी एम्बोलाइजेशन में क्या करोगे? यूट्राइन आर्टरी को एम्बोलाइज कर दोगे, यानी कि जो ब्लड सप्लाई है टू द यूट्रस उसको स्टॉप कर दोगे. जब यूट्रस की ब्लड सप्लाई रुक जाएगी तो द ब्लड सप्लाई टू द fetus will, the blood supply to the fibroid will also stop, and जब blood supply to the fibroid is going to stop, right, the fibroid will automatically shrink. ठीक है. Now next is कि अगर हमारे पास इंट्राम्यूरल या सबम्यूकस फाइब्रॉइड है, अगर इंट्राम्यूरल या सबम्यूकस फाइब्रॉइड है तो इनिशियली हम मेडिकल मैनेजमेंट करेंगे. अगर मेडिकल मैनेजमेंट फेल हो जाता है देन वी आर गोइंग टू गो फॉर सर्जिकल मैनेजमेंट. ओके, हैव यू अंडरस्टूड? अब कहां से और एक्सप्लेन करना है बताओ, और कहां से एक्सप्लेन करना है? समझ में आ गया यहां तक? ओके, नाउ what are the drugs which you are going to use to manage fibroid? And someone has rightly written the mnemonic which I have told you. Today Domino's pizza got late. ठीक, जहां पे T stands for tranexamic acid, D stands for danazol. Danazol is a drug जिसका साइड इफेक्ट होता है हिर्सुटिज्म, and that is why it is not used in young females. P stands for progesterone, G stands for GnRH, and L stands for letrozole. These are the drugs, beta, which are used in management of fibroid as well as endometriosis. So in the management of fibroid and in the management of endometriosis, in both these conditions, we are going to use these drugs. Today, Domino's pizza got late. Now, along again, Nitishji, again, some problem. क्या करें? मुझे मेन हो रहा है कि बच्चों का टाइम वेस्ट ना करें हम. अरे नहीं, लेकिन उनका टाइम बहुत वेस्ट हो रहा है, बहुत टाइम वेस्ट हुआ उनका. मैं यहाँ से डायरेक्ट हैदराबाद जा रही हूँ क्लास के लिए। ओ गॉड, अच्छा ये बताओ आप मुझे कि अब कल भी अगर मुंबई में ऐसे बारिश रही, ये सारा मुझे लग रहा है मुंबई की बारिश का ही चक्कर पड़ रहा है। अच्छा ये वाला वीडियो तो आप हटा दीजिएगा, फिर मैं इसको तो दोबारा से पढ़ा दूंगी, इसमें कोई वो नहीं है, फिर इतना इतना 15-15 20-20 मिनट के वीडियो थोड़ी ना रखेंगे हम यूट्यूब पे। इसको हटा दीजिएगा, ये मैं पढ़ा दूंगी दोबारा से। हम्म, मैं तो स्टार्ट कर दूं, आई थिंक अभी तो चल पड़ा शायद। ओके, देखते हैं। हाँ एक बार चेक कर लेते हैं, अगर स्टार्ट हो जाता है ना तो हम स्टार्टिंग में स्टार्ट करती हूँ, अगर हो जाता है तो। हम्म, ठीक है। 10 बजे नहीं, कल थोड़ा जल्दी स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं, मतलब कल थोड़ा सा कोशिश करते हैं कि अगर, क्या पता सुबह सुबह सिग्नल ज्यादा बेटर मिल जाए। हाँ कल थोड़ा सा जल्दी, मैं देखती हूँ फटाफट से, पहले क्लास अभी देखते हैं कितने सिग्नल हैं। बच्चों कैन यू ऑल हियर मी नाउ? अच्छा यू कैन सी एंड हियर मी, चलो तो देन लेट मी कंटिन्यू, फटाफट से लेट अस कंटिन्यू, थोड़ा सा और जितना हो पाए ना उतना कर लेते हैं। आई वांट कि गाय नहीं खत्म हो जाए तुम लोग की। एक मिनट। हाँ चलो, सो व्हाट इज अ पॉलिप? पॉलिप इज अ म्यूकोसल रेड कलर की ग्रोथ, राइट? अब ये जो पॉलिप है ना, ये फ्लैशी होता है। आई वांट टू शो ऑल ऑफ यू पिक्चर्स, बिकॉज इमेजेस इतनी सारी आ रही हैं आजकल कि लेट अस लुक एट अ फ्यू पिक्चर्स एंड ट्राई टू रिकॉग्नाइज कि पॉलिप कौन सा है एंड फाइब्रॉइड कौन सा है। देखो, अगर आपको व्हाइट कलर का, ऑफ व्हाइट कलर का ट्यूमर दिखाई देगा जिसका ब्रॉड बेस है, राइट? तो ये कलर क्या है? ऑफ व्हाइट है, राइट? इसका बेस कैसा है? ब्रॉड बेस है, राइट? एंड क्या ये दिख रहा है कि ऊपर से इरेगुलर है, बहुत स्मूथ नहीं है, राइट? सो दिस इज इरेगुलर, इसका इरेगुलर कॉन्टूर है। दिस इज हाउ अ फाइब्रॉइड लुक्स लाइक, राइट? दिस इज ऑल हाउ अ फाइब्रॉइड इज गोइंग टू लुक लाइक। जबकि अगर यहां देखो, यहां पे जो दिख रहा है रेड कलर का है, फ्लैशी है एंड छोटे से बेस से अराइज्ड है, राइट? सो ये है, कैसा है? ये है रेड, ये है फ्लैशी and it arises from a narrow base. This is how a polyp looks like. ठीक है? So polyp and fibroid की images बहुत different होती है, right? Then polyp में age group कौन सी होती है? प्लीज रिमेंबर, फाइब्रॉइड कौन सी एज में कॉमन होता है? फाइब्रॉइड की मोस्ट कॉमन एज ग्रुप होती है 30 years ऑफ फीमेल, अ फीमेल हु इज मोर देन 30 years, यानी कि फाइब्रॉइड कॉमन होता है रिप्रोडक्टिव एज फीमेल में, जबकि पॉलिप कॉमन होता है एट एनी एज। Polyp can be seen at any age. It is more common in menopausal females. It is more common in menopausal females, right? Then please remember, fibroid का most common symptom होता है मेनोरेजिया, मेनोरेजिया, excessive bleeding. पॉलिप का मोस्ट कॉमन सिम्टम होता है मेट्रोरेजिया, इररेगुलर ब्लीडिंग। समझ में आ रहा है? राइट नाउ, इन केस ऑफ फाइब्रॉइड, जब आप पर अब्डोमिनल एग्जामिनेशन करोगे या जब आप पर विजाइनल एग्जामिनेशन करोगे, whenever you are going to do a per abdominal or a per vaginal examination, in case of a fibroid, you are going to get, देखो fibroid किसी एक साइड से राइज करेगा, right? So you will see that the uterus will be enlarged. Uterus can be enlarged up till 20 weeks pregnant uterus size. It can be enlarged up till 20 weeks pregnant uterus size. It is going to be irregular, right? Uterus will be irregular. Uterus is going to be, right? And it will not be painful. Whereas in case of a polyp, polyp छोटा सा है, राइट? पॉलिप के केस में यूट्रस का साइज नॉर्मल होगा, राइट? यूट्रस का साइज एब्सोल्युटली नॉर्मल होगा। फाइब्रॉइड के केस में ब्लर हो गया, बफरिंग हो गई, ओके। अब देखो ठीक हो गया क्या बेटा? नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इज, अगर कोई हमसे क्वेश्चन पूछे what is the most common cause of postmenopausal bleeding? What is the most common cause of postmenopausal bleeding? Your answer, the new answer to this question is polyp. Do not say endometrial atrophy, right? Do not say endometrial atrophy. Second best answer to this question is polyp. Second best answer to this question is endometrial atrophy. इसका क्या मतलब है? कभी आपने मलमल का कपड़ा देखा है? मलमल का कपड़ा अपने आप से, अगर बहुत पुराना मलमल का कपड़ा होगा तो अपने आप चिरने लगता है, अपने आप फटने लगता है। Same thing happens with the female's endometrium. Throughout life, her endometrium, every month it was shedding. So endometrium का बहुत overuse हुआ है, and because of that, what is going to happen is कि whenever, I mean at the time of menopause, आफ्टर मेनोपॉज अपने आप से एंडोमेट्रियम जो है वो टीयर करने लगेगी, एंड जहां से टीयर होगी वहां से ब्लीडिंग होगा, राइट? सो द सेकेंड बेस्ट आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन इज endometrial atrophy. This condition is called as endometrial atrophy. If someone asks you what is the most common cause, what is the most common cause of postmenopausal bleeding in India? Most common cause of postmenopausal bleeding in India, it is cancer cervix. What is the most common cause? Cancer cervix. Clear to all of you? Right? Now let's talk about endometriosis. Endometriosis. What is endometriosis? What is endometriosis? Again, कुछ तो blur हो रहा है, कुछ गड़बड़ी हो रही है, but ठीक है, as long as we can continue. What is endometriosis? Tell me. Again buffering. नितीश जी चेक करिए, बच्चे कह रहे हैं फिर से बफरिंग हो रही है, पॉज हो रहा है, बफरिंग हो रही है। अब अगर आ गया है तो लेट अस डू एंडोमेट्रियोसिस. इट इज ectopic endometrium. What do you mean by ectopic endometrium? Ectopic endometrium means endometrial tissue present outside the uterus. Endometrial tissue present outside the uterus, right? What is the most common site for endometriosis? Most common site for endometriosis is ovary. In ovary, endometriosis occurs in the form of bilateral chocolate cyst, right? Then the second most common site for endometriosis is pouch of Douglas. Pouch of Douglas. Then, what is the most common theory which explains endometriosis? Most common theory which explains endometriosis. Most common theory which explains endometriosis is theory of implantation. Theory of implantation, जिसको theory of retrograde menstruation भी कहते हैं. Theory of retrograde menstruation, right? Theory of retrograde menstruation. Then tell me, ये जो थ्योरी ऑफ रेट्रोग्रेड मेंस्ट्रुएशन है वो क्या कहती है? थ्योरी ऑफ रेट्रोग्रेड मेंस्ट्रुएशन ये कहती है कि इन फीमेल्स जिनमें एंडोमेट्रियोसिस होना होता है उनमें मेंस्ट्रुअल ब्लड एंड एंडोमेट्रियल टिश्यू बाहर की तरफ ही नहीं आते, रेट्रोग्रेड जाते हैं एंड फेलोपियन ट्यूब से बाहर निकलते हैं. Because they are going to fall on ovary first, that is why ovary is the most common site, and then they are going to fall in pouch of Douglas. ये blood and endometrial tissue pouch of Douglas में गिरेंगे, that is why it's the second most common site. What is the classical symptom of endometriosis? What is the most common symptom of endometriosis? Most common symptom in endometriosis is pain. Now that pain is in the form of secondary dysmenorrhea, right? Or that pain can be in the form of chronic pelvic pain, or that pain can be in the form of dyspareunia. Dyspareunia का मतलब pain at the time of intercourse, right? Please understand, कोई भी फीमेल हमारे पास डिस्मेनोरिया एंड डिस्पेरुनिया दोनों एक साथ लेकर अगर आती है, अगर दोनों डिस्मेनोरिया एंड डिस्पेरुनिया एक साथ मिल रहा है तो इट हैज टू बी एंडोमेट्रियोसिस. एंडोमेट्रियोसिस के अलावा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. डिस्मेनोरिया एंड डिस्पेरुनिया means they are talking about endometriosis. What is the triad of endometriosis? कौन सा ट्रायड मिलता है एंडोमेट्रियोसिस में? जो ट्रायड मिलता है एंडोमेट्रियोसिस में, दैट इज पेन, इनफर्टिलिटी एंड एडेनेक्सल मास. ये एडेनेक्सल मास क्या है? चॉकलेट सिस्ट. What is the investigation of choice in endometriosis? The investigation of choice in endometriosis is laparoscopy. Laparoscopy. What is the gold standard investigation? Gold standard investigation. Gold standard investigation in case of endometriosis is histopathological examination. histopathological examination, right? Then, what is the management of endometriosis? In endometriosis, हमें दो चीजें मैनेज करनी है. नंबर 1, पेन मैनेज करना है. नंबर 2, चॉकलेट सिस्ट मैनेज करनी है. प्लीज रिमेंबर that chocolate cyst in endometriosis is always managed surgically. हमेशा चॉकलेट सिस्ट के लिए आपको सर्जरी करनी है. कौन सी सर्जरी करनी है? लैप्रोस्कोपिक सिस्टेक्टमी. ठीक. पेन के लिए आपने क्या करना है? आपने ईस्ट्रोजन को डिक्रीज करना है. Because endometriosis is also dependent on excessive estrogen. And drugs कौन सी यूज करेंगे? फिर से Today Domino's Pizza got late. And साथ में और क्या यूज करेंगे? ओसेपीज. राइट. सेम वही ड्रग्स हम यूज करेंगे जो हम फाइब्रॉइड में यूज कर रहे थे. Clear to all of you? That is how you manage endometriosis. Endometriosis में बहुत important है per vaginal examination. जब आप endometriosis में per vaginal examination करोगे, आपको fixed retroverted uterus मिलेगा. Fixed retroverted uterus मिलेगा. So what do you understand by anteversion, anteflexion? Please understand, अगर ये vagina है, ये cervix है, ये uterus है. There is an angle between cervix and vagina, जिसको कहते हैं angle of anteversion. Angle of anteversion. Angle of anteversion is 90 degrees. Then there is an angle between cervix and uterus, जिसको कहते हैं angle of anteflexion. ये जो angle of anteflexion है 120 degrees है. अगर यूट्रस का जो फंडस है, अगर यूट्रस का फंडस पॉइंट करता है टुवर्ड्स ब्लैडर, then it is called as anteverted. अगर यूट्रस का फंडस पॉइंट करता है टुवर्ड्स sacral promontory, अगर वो पॉइंट करता है टुवर्ड्स sacral promontory, then यूट्रस को कहते हैं retroverted. तो in case of endometriosis, you get a fixed retroverted uterus. That is something very, very important about endometriosis. Another thing is, in endometriosis, CA125 levels are increased. In all patients of endometriosis, CA125 levels are increased. ठीक है? समझ में आ गया बेटा all of you? Yes. Now, in comparison to this, we have adenomyosis. Please remember, endometriosis is more common in reproductive age females, and it is more common in nulliparous females. Adenomyosis क्या होता है? Adenomyosis is when endometrial tissue, it is present inside the myometrium. When endometrial tissue is present inside the myometrium, that is called as adenomyosis. Due to this, क्योंकि एंडोमेट्रियल टिश्यू मायोमेट्रियम में प्रेजेंट होता है, ट्रॉफी, मायोमेट्रियम की हाइपरट्रॉफी हो जाती है, जिसकी वजह से यूट्रस इन पेशेंट्स ऑफ adenomyosis is smooth, it is symmetrically enlarged. is symmetrically enlarged. You get a symmetrically enlarged globular uterus. In patients of adenomyosis, आपको symmetrically enlarged uterus मिलेगा, symmetrically enlarged globular uterus मिलेगा, right? The size of the uterus will be 10 to 12 weeks pregnant uterus size. It is never more than 12 weeks pregnant uterus size. Never more than 12 weeks pregnant uterus size. Another very important point in adenomyosis is कि यहाँ पे uterus is painful. यूट्रस पेनफुल होता है, यूट्रस टेंडर होता है, जबकि किसी और कंडीशन में यूट्रस हमें टेंडर नहीं मिल रहा था. फाइब्रॉइड में भी हमें यूट्रस एनलार्ज मिलता है, लेकिन यूट्रस एसिमेट्रिकली एनलार्ज होता है एंड यूट्रस पहुंच सकता है अप टिल 20 वीक्स प्रेग्नेंट यूट्रस साइज एंड यूट्रस कभी भी टेंडर नहीं होता. इन केस ऑफ adenomyosis यूट्रस सिमेट्रिकली एनलार्ज यूट्रस होता है. देखो सिमेट्रिकली एनलार्ज यूट्रस मिल रहा है, ग्लोबुलर यूट्रस मिल रहा है. दिस इज हाउ यूट्रस अपीयर्स इन केस ऑफ adenomyosis. ठीक है. Then another very important thing is, what is the most common complaint with which the patient comes to you? In adenomyosis, patient comes to you with menorrhagia plus dysmenorrhea. Menorrhagia plus dysmenorrhea. What is the of choice? Hysteroscopy. And what is the management? Management is hysterectomy. In case of adenomyosis, management is hysterectomy. ठीक है. So याद रखना, I want all of you to remember कि polyp में what was the investigation of choice? What was the investigation of choice in polyp? In polyp, the investigation of choice is hysteroscopy. Hysteroscopy. Sorry, मैंने यहाँ पे adenomyosis में क्या बताया तुम लोग को? Hysteroscopy. Sorry. In case of adenomyosis, the investigation of choice is MRI. In polyp, it is hysteroscopy. In fibroid, it is ultrasound. In endometriosis, it is lab. In adenomyosis, the investigation of choice is MRI. ठीक है? All of you, yes? समझ में आ गया सबको? Right? So, this is how a patient is going to present to you. अगर उसको fibroid है या adenomyosis है या उसको endometriosis है, then this is how a patient presents to you. Right? Then, next comes vaginitis. Vaginitis. Vaginitis को पढ़ने से पहले you should know कि vagina में there are inhabitant bacteria. जो vagina में बैक्टीरिया होता है उनका क्या नाम होता है? डॉडरलीन बेसिलाई. क्या नाम होता है? डॉडरलीन बेसिलाई. ये जो डॉडरलीन बेसिलाई होते हैं, ये कैसे बेसिलाई होते हैं? लैक्टोबेसिलाई होते हैं. और ये लैक्टोबेसिलाई क्या करते हैं? ये लैक्टोबेसिलाई कन्वर्ट करते हैं वेजाइना में जो ग्लाइकोजन प्रेजेंट है, वेजाइना में जो भी ग्लाइकोजन प्रेजेंट है, इनटू लैक्टिक एसिड. They convert the glycogen present in vagina into lactic acid, and that is why pH of vagina is acidic. That is why pH of vagina is acidic. Please remember, ये जो डॉडरलीन बेसिलाई हैं, ये जो डॉडरलीन बेसिलाई हैं, ये अपीयर होते हैं एट द टाइम ऑफ प्यूबर्टी एंड ये डिसअपीयर हो जाते हैं एट द टाइम ऑफ मेनोपॉज. ये डिसअपीयर हो जाते हैं एट द टाइम ऑफ मेनोपॉज. ठीक है. सो Now, very important, what is the pH of vagina at different ages? Different age groups में what is the pH of vagina? Right? So, age group and pH of vagina. So, सबसे पहले in childhood, what is the pH of vagina? So in childhood, Dodalin bacilli nahi present hai, and that is why pH of vagina is alkaline between 6 to 8. Then at puberty, Dodalin bacilli appear ho jayenge. When Dodalin bacilli will appear, so now the pH will change from alkaline to acidic. Then in reproductive age females, pH of vagina is between 4 to 4.5. pH is between 4 to 4.5. Right? Then what happens in pregnancy? In pregnancy, there is increased Dodalin bacilli. Now, if Dodalin bacilli बढ़ेंगे, so there will be more conversion of glycogen into lactic acid. So, there will be increased lactic acid. And that is why pH will decrease and it will be 3.5. What happens after menopause? After menopause, the Dodalin bacilli disappear and again pH becomes alkaline between 6 to 8. Right? Now, what happens at the time of menstruation? At the time of menstruation, what is going to happen to the pH? At the time of menstruation, blood is alkaline. And that is why pH becomes 6 to 8. Clear to all of you? Please remember, vagina has glands of its own. Vagina में कोई भी glands नहीं होते. तो ये जो vaginal discharge आता है, ये vaginal discharge कहाँ से आता है? Vaginal discharge mainly from cervical glands. Vaginal discharge mainly comes from cervical glands. Again,